As India and New Zealand look to elevate their economic partnership following Prime Minister Modi's visit to the country, what lies ahead for bilateral trade, investment and regional cooperation? To understand the opportunities and challenges, our correspondent Akshay Dongre spoke with economist and trade expert Professor Rahul Sen from Auckland.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to visit New Zealand, and this is going to be first visit by an Indian Prime Minister in about 40 years. Now, what are going to be the benefits for both the countries, especially economically? To speak more about this, we have an expert with us, Dr. Rahul Sen, who is a professor of economy in Auckland University of Technology. Sir, thank you so much for speaking with us and for your time. Firstly, I would like to ask about what is your opinion on this visit? This is going to be a significant visit. The Indian Prime Minister is coming here in about 40 years. How the relation between the two countries are going to benefit from this visit?
Thank you very much for having me. This is a very, very historic moment for India-New Zealand relations. And I think, over the past couple of years, there has been a very strong and positive drive from both governments to see this relationship go to the next level.
Right.
And that is why we saw the free trade agreement being sort of negotiated in a record time of 9 months, because both countries were kind of ready for it. And I'm pretty sure that with this visit, we will see new opportunities coming up for New Zealand businesses to, partner with India. And more importantly, I think it will also increase the awareness of what is happening in India, because what I note, at least in New Zealand, is that there isn't many stories coming out on the Indian economy. So a lot of people, they do not know the new India. They only know India from certain perspectives or from certain narrative point of view, which I think hopefully this visit will be able to change. Because when the Prime Minister comes, he lays down the vision of how he sees this relationship going in the future. I'm sure it is going to create a good mindset change and make it a lot more positive for a lot of New Zealanders to think that, well, the time really has come, because India is the fastest growing economy. Absolutely. It is actually the fastest growing economy among all of New Zealand trading partners. And right now, India is only ranked 11th among New Zealand's trading partners. So, I think that will definitely change.
Sir, what is the trade volume like between the two countries, and what is the potential?
Yeah. So right now, the total trade is around 3.9 New Zealand billion dollars. And if you compare this with the larger trading partners of New Zealand, it's like almost 1/10, I would say. So it's really, really small. And add to it, a big part of this is actually driven by education-related travel or student mobility, actually. So with the FTA, given the kind of broad-based gains that I'm sure will come out, not just through greater exports and imports of goods and services, but also investment flows, technology flows, and people-to-people connections, which will, of course, create opportunities for partnerships in both countries. I think there's going to be a huge transformation in the economic relationship in the years to come.
Right. After this visit. What is there to offer? What India offers to New Zealand, and what will New Zealand offer to India when it comes to economic ties, when it comes to trade? What are the key aspects here that people should know?
Okay, that's a fantastic question, and I think that has always been the question when there has been a debate here about why having that FTA with India, that why India should have the FTA with New Zealand. Of course, India is large in itself. So I think from India's point of view, obviously what it can offer to New Zealand is the scale of the market, the innovations that are taking place, the digital transformation that's happening in India from where New Zealand can take advantage of. And from New Zealand perspective, I think India is going to gain really from the quality of the agricultural products that they produce, the technology that they have, particularly in terms of cold storage technology, which will definitely benefit India. Also, in terms of clean energy, renewable energy, I think that is again another area where there should be really good opportunities for partnership. And definitely sports has always been a very, old link here, and I'm sure that link will also be much more strongly revived with the visit of the Prime Minister. And of course, cultural partnerships as well. Yeah.
So if you talk about you have already mentioned India being the fastest growing major economy in the world. It's also the biggest country when it comes to population now. It has surpassed China. So it is, when it comes to customer base, it really should matter. So what should the common New Zealander know when it comes to trade ties between the two countries?
Yeah, again, that has been a very, very important question here, because many a times, from New Zealand perspective, they think, yes, India is too big a, market to venture into. Where should we start? So definitely, I think there has to be a state-specific approach. And clearly, recent data has shown that a lot of Indian states themselves are having now a state-level per capita income, which is probably even above the middle income range. Yeah. So there are already those fast-growing states where New Zealand, can potentially get into. But even then, there are really good examples of partnership evolving here, which I think New Zealand can benefit from, which is the New Zealand Bioeconomy Science Institute, what it is doing in smaller states like Northeast India or even in Uttarakhand or in Himachal. Those are smaller states having similar kind of geography like New Zealand. Right. And I think those kind of partnerships will really, be very, very useful from the New Zealand business perspective to begin with. And that's why you see that, kind of already taking place before the FTA. Yeah.
So my last question is going to be about Indo-Pacific and about how New Zealand is placed right where it should be. I mean, in a sense that India also needs New Zealand, and New Zealand, obviously, we have spoken about India being a huge customer market.
Sure.
Both benefit each other. So when it comes to India's Indo-Pacific strategy, Mahasagar vision, where do we see in New Zealand?
New Zealand definitely will be a very, very important partner in this whole Mahasagar vision, and also in the overall vision of India's Act East policy, which basically is now extended to the Indo-Pacific region. And more importantly, this FTA, I think, will kind of, the way I look at it is New Zealand, and I wrote this also in one of the articles, that New Zealand actually can be a southern anchor of stability for India when it comes to, the Indo-Pacific prosperity, the stability. And I clearly see that already happening in terms of, some of the defense cooperation that has happened, and of course, some of the strategic partnerships that hopefully we are going to see in the near future. So, and not to mention, the people-to-people cultural links already are fairly strong here. We have a very strong diaspora.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of people here actually who have very good expertise in terms of the diaspora being able to take this relationship to the next level.
Right.
So I think if the governments engage the diaspora actively, then, I'm pretty sure we'll see New Zealand as a very strong and active partner of the Mahasagar vision, and essentially partnering with India to have a stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and giving us all those details about especially the potential that there is as far as India and New Zealand ties are concerned in terms of economy and trade. So as Dr. Sen has mentioned, there is a lot of potential that remains to be exploited by both the countries, and if and with this visit, that is the primary goal of Prime Minister Narendra Modi visiting New Zealand, and we have seen recently the Prime Minister of New Zealand also visiting India. So it seems that at the leadership level, there is a real serious intent to strengthen the ties between the two countries. In Auckland, New Zealand,